The vast and fascinating universe of Dune is opening up again. Authors Frank Herbert and Kevin J join us today to talk about the latest installment to the intricate saga, The Hunters of Dune. The original Dune book by the late Frank Herbert has proved to be a lasting classic. How did you decide to continue the legacy after his passing?
Frank Herbert wrote this great chronicle in which he did 6 big, massive Dune books. And the last of his books, called Chapter House Dune, ends on a terrible cliffhanger, and all Dune fans for years wanted to know how the story ended, because he left us just hanging there. And that's when Brian and I first got in touch with each other to decide about completing that story, because we wanted to know how it ended as much as the fans did.
For 10 years after Dad died, I decided not to write any Dune books, and I wasn't going to continue the series. And then when I met Kevin, the two of us had this incredible enthusiasm and energy for the Dune universe. We were coming up with new concepts, and I felt the energy that was needed to continue the series, and we've done it for 9 years.
This new book is based on an outline by the late creator of the series. Tell us about how you discovered it.
Kevin and I, when we first started to get together and talk about continuing the series, we were trying to figure out where Frank Herbert was going with his grand finale of the series, which he had passed away before he had a chance to write it. And 2 weeks after I met Kevin, an estate attorney called me and said that there were 2 safety deposit boxes of my father's that had turned up. And we went over, we opened it with an estate attorney, took an inventory, and it was recipes, letters, and the notes for the unpublished Dune book. It was incredible. And shortly after that, we found over 1,000 pages of my father's notes in storage in my own house.
With the outline for what Frank Herbert called Dune 7, which now we've turned into Hunters of Dune and another book after that, we had a roadmap of where to go. We knew where this grand finale was going to end up, and we had all sorts of story threads to plant in our other novels to be writing. And we had his notes, and we had a bunch of character backgrounds, and it was just like discovering buried treasure.
What is Hunters of Dune about, and how does it fit into the Dune series continuity?
When Frank Herbert died in 1986, he had in mind a trilogy as a grand finale for the series. And the last 2 books that he wrote were Heretics of Dune and Chapter House Dune. And in them, he set up an incredible mystery. And it's a galactic scale thing going on in which our heroines, the entire Dune universe is being ruled by women, and our heroines, the Bene Gesserit sisters, are being chased across the universe and wiped out by basically the dark side of themselves. They're called the Honored Matre. And Frank Herbert set up the mystery that there is something out there that's even more terrible than these Honored Matres. And you can't imagine what it would be, and he didn't tell anyone. He didn't tell us, he didn't tell the fans. And so it was up to Kevin and me to figure out what that solution was, and we found notes that told us. But we are going to reveal the answer in Hunters of Dune and Sandworms of Dune.
What can you tell fans about the future of the Dune universe?
We've got Hunters of Dune and Sandworms of Dune will tell the grand climax, the chronological end of the story that Frank Herbert set up. But we've got about 10 or 15,000 years of history that Frank Herbert laid out, and he gave events here and there, and there's just so much more room to explore that if we can keep finding good stories to tell, that we will continue to consider writing more Dune books.
Fans and those new to the world of Dune will be thrilled as the adventure continues in Hunters of Dune.
Dune is the most beloved and best-selling science fiction book of all time, so just the fact of us trying to step into this sandbox was taking a big risk. The fans would have their huge expectations. We as authors had our own expectations of what we wanted. And we were hoping that we could come up with something that was worthy of the name Dune, because Frank Herbert left these giant shoes for us to fill, and we felt that it took 2 sets of feet for each one of them.